Summary of the Long Rain by Bradbury. The lieutenant and his fellow soldiers are making their way through the soggy Venusian rainforest in pursuit of a sun dome, one of the 126 American-made shelters scattered throughout Venus' single continent. The rain is frustrating. The men's fingers are cut, their foreheads hurt from the rain, and their whole bodies, including their eyes, hair, and outfits, are going white. Their rocket crashed on Venus 30 days ago, killing 2 of their crew members. Since then, the men who are still alive have had a hard time getting around the world because it is so wet. They are desperately looking for a sun dome so they can finally eat, sleep, and dry off. People say that the domes are full of pleasures like leather-bound books, hot chocolate crowned with marshmallow dollops, soft beds, and an artificial sun hanging from the roof that warms the whole building. Simmons thinks he sees something in an open area as they walk through the bush, so he runs ahead. His friends follow him, thinking that they have finally found a sun dome. Instead, the men run into their old rocket, which they had left behind. They understand that they have come back to it in the last month. They are sad, but the officer tells them they still have enough food for 2 more days. The bush is being torn apart by a monster. The monster is bright blue and has 1,000 lightning bolts for legs. Everything it walks over gets burned. All of the lieutenant's soldiers are told to lie down in the mud, but one of them, who is not named, runs away crying. He is quickly killed by the monster, and the forest smells like burning meat. The captain, Simmons, and Pickard are the only ones left, and they have to keep going. They cross milky white rivers and walk through a pale jungle. Then, in the distance, they see a bright yellow light. When they see the sun dome, the guys run toward it with joy. But when they get there, the sun dome is empty and no one is there. The Venusians, who don't want Earth people on their world, made 1,000 holes in the roof through which rain falls, and all of the food is covered with green fur. The men think about waiting for a relief team, but they decide to move on to the next dome, which is about 8 hours away. After traveling for a few more hours, the men decide to rest. It's been 30 days since they've been able to sleep because of the rain. But after just a few minutes of laying down, Pickard starts screaming and firing his gun into the air over and over again. The lieutenant fumbles around for his hand lamp and shines it on Pickard's face. His pupils are bigger and his mouth is wide open and filled with water. The officer yells at Pickard and tries to slap him in the face, but Simmons says it doesn't work because Pickard has gone crazy and is now trying to kill himself. Simmons shoots Pickard in order to end his pain. Simmons and the officer keep going, but Simmons soon starts to show signs of going crazy himself. Simmons says he doesn't want to die of madness or drowning, so as soon as the officer is out of sight, he plans to shoot himself. Because he can't talk to his friend, the officer has to go on by himself. The lieutenant says to himself in a miserable way, "I'll walk for just 5 more minutes. After that, he'll jump into the ocean and kill himself." Soon, though, the officer sees a bright yellow glow in the distance and realizes he's reached the sun dome. He starts running and trips and falls through the bush. He finally gets inside the dome by accident and is shocked by what he sees. There are hot pots of coffee and plates of food on the tables. A fresh outfit and a stack of fluffy Turkish towels are sitting on a chair nearby. When he looks up at the ceiling, he sees the sun, which is a beautiful yellow. He kind of sees that other men are coming toward him, but he doesn't care. Instead, he takes off his wet clothes and walks wordlessly toward the sun.
About the author. Bradbury was born in Waukegan, Illinois, on August 22, 1920. He loved to read when he was young. When his family moved to Los Angeles in 1934, Bradbury, who was then a teenager, started writing short stories as a hobby. Soon, this became his life's work. He didn't go to college because he couldn't afford it. Instead, he went to the library 3 times a week for 10 years. At the start of his writing career, Bradbury's work was only published in small, specialized magazines about magic and the supernatural. But Bradbury started getting noticed when one of his stories was included in the Best American Short Stories in 1946. He is best known for the book Fahrenheit 451 that he wrote in 1953. All of Bradbury's 11 books grew out of short stories, which he loved very much. Bradbury was 91 years old when he died, but he had already written hundreds of short stories, many of which are now considered literary classics. During his life, he was given many awards and honors, such as the National Medal of the Arts, a Pulitzer Prize Special Citation, an Oscar mention, and an Emmy Award. Bradbury married his first love, Marguerite McClure, in 1947. Bradbury died in Los Angeles, California, in 2012.
Hope we summarized it fully and you liked it. Please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel so that we are motivated to create more videos.